Turf Business TV are now with Richard Brown here on their stand at SALTEX with Germinal. Richard, your products are well established. I know you're continually developing them, but what are you seeing happening in terms of how the market's developing and changes there?
Well, increasingly, I think probably the biggest trend at the moment is on the golf side with regards to bentgrass. And we're seeing an even further increase in bentgrass sales of all species, both brown top and the creeping bents, which we're pushing very hard for the UK market. Now, I think this is the reason behind this is not unknown, and it's with very few curatives available on the market to combat fusarium. Greenkeepers are starting to have to take on greater culture control, but also they are having to accept greater disease scarring, and they're having to accept that a proportion of their budget that would have been spent on curatives has got to be spent on brown top bent or creeping bent in order to repair those greens. And what we're seeing as a company is a greater requirement to service that marketplace. And I think but you want to service that marketplace with a variety of varieties and a variety of species, but also a variety of price points, because every golf course is different in terms of budget. And as a company, we're working very hard to be able to introduce blends of brown top bents, creeping bents and brown top bents to reach every price point in the market. And we're hearing increasingly people are saying, oh well, your bent grasses are becoming prohibitively too expensive, and I'm looking towards sort of fine ryegrasses even to overseed my golf greens. Well, whereas we've got probably the best fine ryegrass on the marketplace for that, Cabrio, ultra-fine ryegrass. We would still advocate that bentgrass is the very best species to be overseeding and recovering golf greens. And what we're trying to introduce to the market is an increasing range of bentgrass products to suit every pocket and every situation. And that's what we're really endeavouring to do.
Very prominent on your stand here at SALTEX is a display talking about purity. Can you explain a bit on that for me?
Yeah, we think it's quite interesting to sort of constantly get this message across to the end user that there is a difference between one bag of grass seed and another. And what I mean is sometimes people will say to us, oh well, just for a budget landscape mixture I can buy a bag of grass seed for 5 or 10% less than your bag of grass seed. Well, that may very well be true, but that bag of grass seed may contain grasses only clean to EU minimum purity standards, whereas all the grasses that we use in our mixtures are clean to a higher voluntary standard, and the purity levels there can differ by 5%. So you might be buying the bag of grass seed for 5% less, but you've got 5% less seed in there. And what's replacing that seed? Well, a greater level of weed contaminants and also chaff and thatch, which blocks seed drills and leaves customers unhappy. So, like all things in life, quality is remembered long after the price is forgotten, and it's the same with grass seed.